up, everybody? It's Imbalance from Death Wish. Doing my own review tonight. Unfortunately, GTS the King could not join me to see this epic movie known as Star Wars The Last Jedi. But I'm here to review the movie. Just got back from it tonight. It's been about an hour or two. I've had some time to process it. I'm going to share my thoughts. Right off the bat, I'm going to tell you there are going to be a shit ton of spoilers. But I'll give a spoiler-free review, and then I'll warn you when the spoilers begin. So, let's start off by saying there's been a lot of hype around this movie. A lot of reviews are saying it's the best one since Empire Strikes Back. Others have said it's the best one ever. And you know what? For once, the hype is true. Like, holy shit, this movie was amazing. It was so good. I mean, if you're a Star Wars fan, it doesn't just, capitalize on nostalgia. It focuses on character development of the new characters, like Rey, Poe Dameron, especially, Finn. I'm horrible. I should know her name, but it's the girl that runs around with Finn through most of the movie. You'll see her. You'll know who I'm talking about when you see the movie. And then Laura Dern's character, forget her name. She's like a general. She takes. Well, I don't want to spoil much, but it was amazing seeing Laura Dern in a Star Wars movie. All I could think was Diane from Twin Peaks. I was just waiting for her to be like, "Fuck you, Leia," or something like that. Which anybody who's watched Twin Peaks knows what I'm talking about. Other people are like, why would she say fuck you to Leia? But anyways, The Last Jedi. Incredible. Like, this is a Star Wars film done in every right way. Touched every emotion. Got so much good action scenes. Great character development. Just all around, just an amazing film. And I'm so glad that it was made. Rian Johnson, the director, not really familiar with his work, but he nailed this. Oh, and there goes my piece of shit poster. But you know what? I don't even care. Because that movie was so good. So good. I ran out and bought this poster just to tape up to the wall for this. I got my framed Force Awakens one here. But anyway, I have to say, yeah, it probably is the best movie since Empire, if not the best Star Wars. The only thing I'd say is Empire has a better villain, which, I mean, you can't top Darth Vader. He ain't know about him. But anyways, long story short, see this movie. It's amazing. You'll love it. Captures everything you love about Star Wars. There's a few surprises in there that I'll get into in a little bit. But let's proceed. And now we're going to get into the spoiler territory of the review. So, if you don't want this spoiled, I will give you, 5 seconds to turn it off. 3, 2, and here we go. So, the movie starts off, I'd say right about when Force Awakens ends. All the Resistance is getting ready to evacuate their base because the First Order figured out where they are. They're on their way to destroy them all. They got this big mega ship that just shoots mini, kind of remind me like the lasers from Starkiller Base. It shoots mini versions of those. And Poe Dameron flies in by himself, to pretty much talk to General Hux. And what they don't know is he's just stalling him so Poe Dameron can gain some more time to let the rebels escape. He's acting like he can't hear him. And, he's like, "I'd like to speak to General Hux." And General Hux is like, "There will be no surrender. There will be no prisoners. We will grasp every last breath out of your little resistance and watch you all die a slow, horrible death." And then Poe's like, "I'm trying to talk to General Hux. I'll stay on hold." And he just keeps doing this, and finally he's like, I have a message from General Leia about your mother. Like, there's like so much humor in this movie. I love it. But anyway, they get away, but what they don't know is the First Order has figured out a way to track them through hyperspace. So they just, like, as soon as they jump out of hyperspace, there's the First Order on their ass again. Meanwhile, Finn wakes up from, he got royally fucked up by Kylo Ren in the last movie, but he wakes up, he's fine. He tries to escape, meets this girl who works, like, I'm guessing, like, maintenance on the freighter for the Resistance, and they figure out if they can get on the main Star Destroyer from the First Order, they can deactivate their tracking device to let the Resistance escape. Meanwhile, Rey's trying to convince Luke to come with her to help the Resistance in their fight, but Luke is really emo because, Kylo Ren turned to the dark side, killed all the Jedi that he was training, left with some Knights of Ren, which we still haven't seen. I can't believe we still haven't seen the Knights of Ren. That's probably one of my few complaints about the movie. Like, let's see these Knights of Ren. Come on. But it's funny, like, the movie Force Awakens ends, she's like holding the lightsaber out to Luke for like what feels like 10 minutes. And this, she hands it to him, he takes it and tosses it off the cliff like as soon as he gets it. Everybody in the theater got a good laugh at that. But yeah, eventually she convinces Luke to train her. He mentions that she's got strength that he hasn't seen since Kylo Ren, and he freaks out a little bit. Meanwhile, Kylo Ren and Rey are able to like connect to each other through the Force somehow, like they're having conversations with each other. It starts off pretty funny. At first they're freaking out. Rey shoots a blaster at him. He's like, oh fuck, and then realizes like it's the Force. They're like, she's not really there. But she finds out like the whole backstory between Kylo Ren and Luke. She feels like a struggle within, like she thinks she can get him to like come back to the light, and she hatches this plan. She talks to Luke about it, and of course he's like, don't do it. Oh, and also Luke's trying to like put an end to the Jedi. He pretty much says he came to the island so he could die and let the Jedi be extinct, because the Jedi have brought nothing but failure and pain in the past. Like I said, he's pretty emo. He's like me after a breakup. He like just has no faith in anything at this point. But yeah. Eventually she like gets him to believe. Rey gets him to believe a little bit, except for he tells her it's a horrible idea to go to try to rescue or to turn Kylo to the light. But she goes to Snoke's ship. We see Snoke in person. He looks pretty old and creepy and gross. And guess what? Big surprise here. Snoke turns out to be nobody. For all you idiot Snoke is this and Snoke is that theorists, you're wrong. He ain't shit. He ain't nobody. Sorry, that's bugging me. But, and I'll get into that. It was a trap the whole time. Snoke set up for them to have a connection through the Force to talk to each other mentally. And he expected Rey to come right to him. And pretty much he's like just fucking her up with the Force powers. He's just throwing her all over the place, torturing her, showing her the Rebel fleet. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Finn and that girl go to this planet and try to find this master key, like master code breaker. And they can't find him, but they get thrown in jail somehow, and they meet Benicio del Toro's character. He's like a shady, like thief guy, and he's like, I can do it for the right price, like typical scum from the Star Wars world. And surprise, he betrays them, sells them out to the Empire, and he also tells the Empire about the rebels plan to, which I don't know, how did he figure that out? I don't know. But pretty much while they're waiting for Finn to get back and, break the tracker on the Star Destroyer, they're running out of gas, they're trying to outrun them. And the big plan is, oh shit, I forgot to mention that this movie toys with your emotions so much. There's a scene where, after the Empire chases the First Order, whatever, chases the Resistance ships, Kylo Ren's flying around his TIE fighter, like fucking shit up, flies inside the hangar, blows up all the, X-Wing fighters, and then he's about to, lock missiles on the commander bay where Leia is, his mother. Fucking pieces. God damn it. Anyway, so Kylo Ren is about to blow up, the bay, the bridge where Leia is and all the high-ranking officers. He's about to pull the trigger and he can't do it. He can't kill his mom. But the other First Order pilots are sure to blow them the fuck up. You see Leia go flying out in the vacuum space. And I was thinking, well, this makes sense. They're killing her off because Carrie Fisher died, right? But then Princess Leia, has the Force is strong with her. She used the Force to fly back into the fucking freighter, and she's fine, but she's in a coma. So, holy shit. That Skywalker blood, I'm telling you. But yeah, anyways, back to the original story. Benicio del Toro sells out Finn and his girl that he's with. Somehow he figures out that the rebels are escaping on these little transports to this planet, this remote planet that everybody forgot about, where an old rebellion base was. And somehow he knew, and he told the Empire for money. So they start just blowing up all these transport ships, and you think all hope is lost. And Snoke's showing Rey and laughing about it, and then he's like, and now you have that Skywalker spunk in you, or not Skywalker, but that Jedi spunk in you, so you must die. And he's holding her down, and he's getting Kylo Ren to kill her, because he wants Kylo Ren to prove himself that he's dedicated to the dark side. And Kylo Ren used the Force. He's got his lightsaber held up to Rey, but then Snoke has the old Skywalker lightsaber that's sitting next to him on his throne, and Kylo uses the Force to turn it towards him and activates it, and right through the fucking torso. He cuts the motherfucker in half. So Snoke gone, dead. So that's one point I have about this new series of movies. I was you know what, this is better than Empire. This was better, but the only thing is the villain was so much better in Empire Strikes Back. Vader is still the best villain of all time. You can't beat, like I said, you can't top Darth Vader. He ain't no bottom. And I'm hoping after this, because sure enough, Kylo Ren and Rey are fighting side by side to fight off all the Snoke's royal guards, and you think he's joined the light, he's back to the light side, the good side, whatever you want to call it. And once they kill everybody, he's she's come back and help us. We can still save the Resistance. He's let the Resistance die. Let Skywalker die. Let my mother die. Let the past die. Join me and we can start a First Order together. People say that Star Wars recycles a lot of stuff, and it does, but it's for a good reason. It's Star Wars. I don't care, that it recycles, themes and stuff like that. I think it's cool. But anyway, back to Luke Skywalker, after Rey leaves, he's got a torch, he's about to burn down this old Jedi tree and all these original Jedi texts. And sure enough, the ghost of Yoda appears, talks to Luke. It was an awesome moment between the two. And he's like, I'm going to burn it all down. But then he stops and he can't, and then Yoda like manipulates the lightning to like strike the tree and burns it all down. And he's pretty much saying that like Rey already knew everything in those texts. Like there's nothing he can teach her from those texts or old Jedi traditions to just let her learn from failure. Which goes back to Luke saying all the Jedi do is fail. Yoda spits some knowledge on him and says, what better way to learn than from failure? So boom, Luke's back in the game. He's like all Jedi'd up again. He's ready to go. Oh yeah, and you think Kylo and Rey are like just gonna have this epic duel, like they're using the Force to fight over this lightsaber, and then suddenly Laura Dern stays behind on the Rebellion freighter, and she's watching him kill everybody. She's getting pissed, so she puts it into hyperspace and just flies that motherfucker right through the Star Destroyer, like splits it in half. So they're fighting, and then all of a sudden, like, it's just destruction everywhere. Captain Phasma, once again, potential great villain, kind of wasted opportunity in this movie yet again. You see her, in a couple scenes, she captures Finn and his girl, and she's about to have him executed. The freighter flies through the Star Destroyer, and then they start fighting each other, Phasma and Finn, like, using, like, these, like, when the Force Awakens, the guy's like, traitor, and like spins that thing around. Like Finn has one of those, and Phasma has like some kind of sword thing. But they fight like a good 5 minutes, and then Finn like hits her in the face. You see like her eye, and then she falls into like the fire. So I'm assuming she's dead too. Which really, all we have left is Kylo Ren is like the main villain now. And Hux comes up, sees Snoke's dead, and Kylo's like, the girl murdered him and left. And then Hux is like, he's like, let's go to the planet and end this. And Hux is like, our leader is dead. You can't just tell me what to do. And then Kylo goes all Darth Vader mode and chokes him. So I guess he just assumes Supreme Leader role. So they go down to the main, this mineral planet, where the First Order is kind of taking their last stand against the Resistance is taking their last stand against the First Order. All these walkers are showing up. There's this big cannon that blasts open the doors, and they all go out and fight. They send out a distress signal. Nobody fucking gives a shit. Nobody comes to help. But in the middle of the fight, Finn, you think he's gonna eat shit. You think he's gonna sacrifice himself to save the day, but then that girl saves him, and she's like, "We're not gonna win by fighting what we hate, but saving what we love." And then she kisses Finn and passes out because of this big crash. But right after that, sure enough, Luke motherfucking Skywalker shows up, and he's about to save the day. He has a tender moment with his sister. Not tender like that, you sick perverts. That was only in Empire Strikes Back. But then he goes out to face Kylo Ren, his failed student. Or he feels he failed Kylo. But, just watch the movie. I'm not going to get into every plot point. But Kylo Ren sees him, has everybody stop. There's all these walkers and stuff. He's like, I want every gun fired at that man. So they just blow him the fuck up. You think he's obliterated. And then he stands up and he's just literally in the movie, he's just dirt off your shoulder, Jay-Z style. You know what I'm saying? Get that dirt off your shoulder. But, so Kylo Ren comes down to face him. They have this epic fight. And then Luke's strike me down and I'll be with you forever, just like your father. Kylo Ren runs at him, puts the lightsaber right through him, nothing. Stabs him, nothing. Turns out, Luke is so strong in the Force now, he was projecting himself like planets away. He's still on that mountain planet, just like sitting cross-legged like on a rock, like just projecting himself in this fight against Kylo. And he did it to distract him long enough for the Resistance to escape through like the caves in the back. And big spoiler here, after that he dies. Like in the peaceful Jedi way, he just fades, you see his robes just fall on the rock, he's gone. And Rey feels it, Leia feels it, they're leaving, and then Leia's like, this truly is the birth of the rebellion. I think they're finally like the rebellion again, is the point they're getting at. And then it ends with like these kids like reenacting the legend of Luke Skywalker. And then one of them looks up at the sky, sees a ship, and he's like wearing a ring, and it has like the little rebellion logo on it, saying that like, yeah, there's a new generation of rebels that are coming. Credits. And then a beautiful tribute that says, in loving memory of our princess, Carrie Fisher, which, oh man. But overall, I spoiled the fuck out of that movie. I don't care. It was so good. I will be seeing it multiple times while it's in theaters. And I recommend you go see it if you're a Star Wars fan. You will love it. It's great. Like, it is so fucking good. I'm not even kidding. But I'm in balance. This is my review for Star Wars, The Last Jedi. Go see that shit. I'm telling you, you're going to love it. It's amazing. But until next time, peace. And since GTS isn't here, I'm going to go ahead and say, fuck.